Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of My Hero, My Life. Today's video was actually written by one of our ghost writers. It's just so cool to have people join this team and to be willing to be a part of it. If you want to join the team, definitely email me at myheromylife1@gmail.com. We would love for you to be a part of that ghost team, or that's a ghost editor, a ghost writer, or whatever else that may fit your skills. But hey guys, we are also on the road to 5,000 subscribers. Be a part of that. Join this awesome time and subscribe. Why don't you check us out on Twitter and on Discord? You can find those links down in the description below. With all that being said, let's do this. As we all know, Batman has had some pretty gruesome villains himself. We all know that Batman's rogues gallery is quite large. Today we're asking, can Batman defeat the League of Villains from My Hero Academia? Batman is a vigilante. He has many gadgets that help him get around. One is the Batmobile. He also has the Bat Grappler. Batman has many gadgets. And what happens when that grapple goes against someone like Shigaraki and Shigaraki's Death Grip? In this version, we're going to give Batman his Batmobile, similar in design to the winged version from Batman Forever's version. With this design, the functionality that comes with this is top notch. He has a spare bat suit in there too. When in the Batmobile mode, he can shoot out rockets. Other things he can do are auto drive, call other people, talk to his home computer, and others. He has the bat claws and shot gloves that help him battle and stun enemies in hand-to-hand combat. He also has gadgets in his belt such as the bat grappling hook and the pepper spray, which is nice to see because we haven't seen it in quite a long time. Such other items on his belt is a computer drive holder, a serum container, and other compartments. So I want to jump right into it. Let's go through each of the League of Villains and let's see, do we think that Batman could take them on? Let's start off with Spinner. I think Spinner can be taken down quite easily by the Batman. He could use much of the same tactics as he does on Killer Croc. He could take him down with a grappling hook by tying up Spinner's feet. He could use heat to put Spinner to sleep. He could use metal bars to create sound waves to put Spinner into an overload, and other things that he's already used to capture the Killer Croc. Now, next I want to touch on Mr. Compress. I believe that he can defeat Mr. Compress fairly easily. One problem he might have is, realizing that Mr. Compress has his marbles and what exactly his marbles do. We already know that his marbles can contain many different items. These may cause Batman many different obstacles in his path. But if Mr. Compress is smart enough, maybe he could be able to actually capture Batman. Batman would need to be wary of these things to be able to defeat Mr. Compress. And we already know that Batman is an amazing detective. I believe that anybody and everybody on this list, Batman would do his homework before going after them. He would definitely know, the ins and outs of each villain. The next one I want to touch on is Toga. I think she can be a little bit more problematic. We know that she can turn into anyone by ingesting their blood. Batman would be able to battle back against this by doing his research. I feel like if he was able to see Toga's DNA in a person, he would be able to know if they're Toga or not. So I think he would utilize his technology to create some sort of device to be able to kind of read Toga's DNA, maybe some weird goggles or something that shows which one's Toga and which one is not. This would be able to allow him to figure that out and react accordingly. I feel that if he was able to distinguish, between Toga and the real person, it wouldn't be as hard to actually apprehend her. I want to touch on Kirigiri. We haven't seen him lately because of what's been going on in the manga, but I love Kirigiri. He's one of my favorites. Maybe not my ultimate favorite, but definitely one of my favorites in the League of Villains. So I see this as the line where he would have some challenge with these villains. Kirigiri would have enough smarts to be able to get Batman far away from him. Batman would eventually figure out that he can capture Kirigiri's body, but other than that, I feel like Batman would keep getting teleported far away from him. Even imagine, let's say that Batman's on his way to get Kirigiri, and he literally is able to teleport the Batmobile to the middle of nowhere. How crazy would that be? All right, let's talk about Dabi. Dabi, I think, is quite a bit of an OP character, and I think would definitely create a challenge for Batman. He would need to be prepared for, the heat of this villain, which, I don't think he's usually used to. He's usually used to the cold of Mr. Freeze. He would need a few weeks to prepare for the intense heat, but I think he'd be able to finally compete against Dabi. But again, it comes back to research. I think when it comes to any villain that Batman is able to take down, it is either one, the time and effort of research, or two, him being with the Justice League, being able to rely on his fellow comrades to help out and take down huge heavy-duty villains. But I think that Batman is trained fairly well, and I think that with being able to deal with people, with cold things like Mr. Freeze and the Penguin, I think that he would figure out how to deal with heat villains. I don't think it would be that much of a challenge. It would just take time. And I think this is true to almost any villain. If Batman just found them for the first time, he might lose. But give the man enough time to do his research, definitely he can take down almost any villain. Or at least be wise enough to know what it takes. Can he do it himself, or does he need the Justice League by his side? Alright, let's touch on Shigaraki. Shigaraki again would pose a pretty hard challenge. All it takes is one touch and Batman is dead. I feel like this fight would end if Batman went after Shigaraki, and he would just simply turn him into dust immediately. Shigaraki has many different ways to destroy Batman, and I want to go into a quick spoiler, so spoiler alert. 1, 2, 3. Alright, hopefully you clicked off the video if you don't want any spoilers from the manga. But, now he has that all-for-one power, and I think there's so many different options for Shigaraki to utilize against the Batman. He might even toy with him until finally using that death touch to just take Batman out. Shigaraki would be able to, just simply be done with the Batman. Batman, he really kind of has this code, and he doesn't really kill villains, and I think this leaves him apprehending Shigaraki quite hard. And this means that Shigaraki would be able to basically win, but I think this goes back to Batman and his team, whether that's the Bat family or more specifically the Justice League. He would really need the help of people like Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern. It would take a team to take on someone to that level of someone like Shigaraki. And that even goes for our next person, All for One. Batman, I don't think, would be able to defeat All for One on his own. All for One just has too many quirks up his sleeve. If we did kind of look at it from like All for One being in Batman's world, he'd kind of be quirkless because there aren't quirks. But I think that, we'd have to adapt it where he could take superpowers, something from Superman or something from Green Lantern or something from Flash. And that would be just as much of a hassle as if he had all the quirks that he had in the world of My Hero Academia. And so again, man, he needs his friends. He needs his Justice League to take on All for One. Alright, the last guy I want to touch on is Gigantomachia, and I don't know if I pronounce his name right or not. I always have a struggle with his name, so feel free to let me know in the comments below if I butcher that or not. But I feel this fight would be pretty rough. Just like how Bane broke Batman's back, I think that if Batman attempted to get close to this guy, he would, kind of scoop up Batman and break his back. He would wreck Batman. Again, he needs the Justice League. There needs to be a team ready and prepared to take down this guy. His super strength would allow him to crush Batman fairly easily. If Batman even attempted to go in for a capture, he'd be crushed to very nearly death. This guy would be almost unstoppable because he can barely even feel any pain, and any kind of feeble attempts at an attack would be microscopic from Batman. This is due to Gigantomachia's pain-numbing quirk that we see throughout the series. I mean, if you even look at what's going on in the manga right now, they can't even stop this guy. How in the world can someone like Batman, Gigantomachia also has the high ground on energy. He has an energy quirk that makes him able to go for 48 hours and 44 minutes without rest, that only have to sleep for 3 hours. Meanwhile, Batman is just a human. He needs at least 6 hours of sleep a day to feel a little to no effect, giving him 18 hours of battle strength. Gigantomachia also has increased durability, and this is very useful, as Batman can't land a single good punch without, having no quirk. He takes virtually no damage from any form of attack that Batman would bring his way. He can even grow in battle. He can grow up to 25 meters. This allows him to have a single breath be able to topple a quarter of New Orleans with only 5 breaths. And like I said, man, he would need the Justice League to be on his side to take on this kind of villain. He needs someone like Superman, someone from another planet, to be able to come in and give the whopping attacks that Superman does. People like Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, all of those would be fantastic to help deal some pretty hefty damage. And then I imagine that the Flash would be able to do some really cool things and maybe even trip Gigantomachia down, and then they'd be able to pummel him some more. But basically, Batman would be able to do all the research, and then the rest of the Justice League would have to do the heavy hits on this bad guy. But guys, that's my thoughts on, what if Batman fought the League of Villains? What if he took on villains from My Hero Academia? I think the simple answer is Batman can take a few people down on his own, but at the end of the day, he definitely needs the entire Justice League to take on the full strength of the League of Villains. But what do you think? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, guys, and let me know. What do you think? Did I get anything wrong? Is there anything you guys want to add? Definitely let me know. And guys, with that being said, thank you again for watching. Remember, we're on a road to 5,000, so make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Be a part of this, man. We're going places, and we want you to be a part of it as well. Guys, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.